Back with us on the SportsMax Zone. So the SportsMax Ultimate 11, my producer reminds us that we are halfway through the selection. We have given you our selections. Our voting power, 30%. Our panel, 30%. The fans online, 40%. So the fans online have a greater say in the composition of this final 11 than we do. We remind you that we selected on a 4-4-2 formation that was selected by the panelists solely. And yeah, the panel of experts that we've had over time, Brent Sancho has been anchoring that panel of experts. That panel will continue to contribute to the process. Gigi Buffon is our selected goalkeeper. Our selected left back is Roberto Carlos. And Maldini and Franz Beckenbauer are firmly at the heart of defense. Right back, there is some controversy. There is some disquiet over the selection of Cafu. There were 2 wild cards trumped on Friday's show. And those wild cards, when you turn them face up, Daniel Alves, the outstanding former Barcelona, Juventus, and PSG star, also outstanding at Sevilla, let's not forget, and the man who captained Brazil at the 1970 World Cup, the lithe and athletic Carlos Alberto Torres, a man who was like a gazelle when he was sprinting. Well, my producer has the latest graphic of he has the vote tracker from the sportsmax.tv/ultimate 11 page, and that tracker shows that of all the defenders on the list, Cafu has the highest number of votes. Cafu has the highest numbers of, Maldini has 82.4%. Let's see if Cafu has more votes than even Maldini. Beckenbauer, 64%, so he's firmly in based on the fan votes. So the fans, according with the panel of experts and the zone hosts where Maldini and Beckenbauer are concerned. And Cafu, 82.4%. So he has the joint highest number of votes among all the defenders, equal with Paolo Maldini. Yeah. And how did the wild cards vote over? How did the wild cards trend? Carlos Alberto Torres, no vote. Dani Alves, 1.12%, 1 vote for Dani Alves based on the math. Gentlemen, it confirms what the panel of experts and us here on the SportsMax Zone are saying. Torres and Alves, this is a bridge too far for them.
Well, I would say that I think what happened to our viewers voting online, they, I think, pretty much settled on what they thought. So with the reintroduction of the wildcards, they pretty much, didn't go for or didn't entertain too much discussion on them, because as far as they were concerned, they were pretty set on the 4 that were selected. I
could say with George's best effort, he could not get Dani Alves in there, because George, you did the resume, you really displayed a lot of passion and appreciation for Dani Alves. You talked about the fact that he's always in the 18-yard box. He touched the ball more than basically all the players.
Yeah,
and he's so fit. He's like he just back and forth, and so he was such a utility player and he was doing so well. But they weren't listening to you, George. They only gave you 1.1 points. So
well, I think George was just sort of firing up the discussion between Colin Murray and Juan Arango regarding the wild cards, who they both had felt so strongly for. So George was giving them a platform to sell their players.
I was hoping he wouldn't butt in and
I'm defending myself.
I thought you'd have allowed me to just nail him to the cross, but you
no, I think that's what happened, to be fair. To be fair to George, that's
you
what
guys
happened.
You coincide well with each other still, so I'm expecting you to have his back. So.
And I lost by Dani Alves' fight. From the cutting room floor, because I told you I was almost kicked out of the room. So that's what the historians and the statisticians.
And you still brought it back here.
Yeah. All right. Here's what happens today. We're going to start narrowing down our short list of 14 midfielders, and we're going to cut that in half today. We're going to end up with 7 midfielders after today, and we have 14 at the moment. You'll see that list of 14 outstanding all-time defenders in just a moment. On day 1 of 2 for the midfielders debate, we will eliminate 7 legendary midfielders from the panel and the hosts. So there they are: Iniesta, Maradona, Francescoli, Roberto Rivellino, Garrincha, 2 Brazilians there. There are 3 or 4 of the first 5 that you saw were South Americans all. Johan Cruyff, Lothar Matthäus, Luis Figo, Michel Platini, Ronaldinho, and the 14 completed by Sir Bobby Charlton. Xavi Hernandez, Zico, and Zinedine Zidane, the 14 players there that are being assessed to choose 7 from as far as the midfielders are concerned. Remember that we're going to wind up with 4 midfielders, so even after we cut down to 7 today, we'll have to reduce that to a further 3 on Tuesday to get our 4 midfielders. This is going to be a very hotly contested one. Help me welcome to the zone today. On panel, we have Brent Sancho, Central FC owner in Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago's World Cup defender back in 2006. Brent, welcome to the show again.
Good afternoon, guys, on studio. Of course, good afternoon to the panelists and good afternoon to all the viewers.
All right, we also have a former St. Lucia international, well-informed journalist as well, Tenny Glasglow. He is an Arsenal fan. And Tennyson, welcome to the hot topic here about selecting the defenders, the midfielders. Tennyson. Where's Tennyson? We'll get to him shortly. I know he's there. And international recording artist, a singer who talks and plays football very impressively. We know, we've seen him in action. Chris Martin. Chris, welcome to the SportsMax Zone, sir.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me, man. Much respect to all the panelists and much respect to you guys. Thank you for inviting me on this wonderful occasion, you know?
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll get your views on the midfielders in a short while. Just let's make sure that we have Tennyson Glasglow in. Tennyson, are you there? Okay, he's got to be there, but let's first get from our panelists. Let's start with Brent Sancho. Your favorite midfielders at this point, Brent, and what are the things that you're looking for in a midfielder for an all-time ultimate 11?
Well, I tell you, I thought the last set of selections were difficult, but this one is getting even worse. I think for an all-time 11, you need a midfielder that can play, of course, box to box, the ability to play both offensively and defensively. What we've seen is in the modern game is midfielders not having a particular skill set. The Makalele rule, which became very, very popular under Claude Makalele. We're seeing midfielders now that can play both sides of the coin. Someone of the likes of Paul Pogba, that's ability to go forward and of course defend. So I'm looking at midfielders that can do both, particularly with the type of offensive firepower that I expect this team to have. You would need midfielders that could do both jobs required.
Yeah, I should mention that trending at the moment on the midfielders voting, Diego Maradona, Zinedine Zidane, and Ronaldinho are at the moment the most fancied midfielders in this current list. Does that surprise you, Brent?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. That would be my choice as well. Again, of the types of midfielders that we look forward to, we've seen those 3 players in particular. Of course, Diego Maradona, a player that is of course tied into arguably one of the world's greatest to ever play the sport. So I'm not surprised that those players up there, and of course Zinedine Zidane, a player that many regard as up there in the top 5 players ever played the sport as well, and Ronaldinho needs no introduction.
Chris Martin, Mr. Big Deal, talk to us now about what are your views on what we should be looking for in these midfielders. All 14 of them impressive, as you would know, and we've got to reduce that list to 7. But you're a fairly skillful man on the ball, so I think creativity and ball handling skills would rank highly on your list as you look at this group.
Yeah, definitely ball handling skills. I feel like you want. For the central midfield position, you definitely need somebody like Zinedine Zidane, 100%. Zidane would definitely be my choice for the central midfield position. And for the attacking midfield position, I'd have to put Ronaldinho right in front of him. You understand? So right there in the belly of the pitch, you have no problems. I don't see any problems, no difficulties happening there. But for the left and the right midfield, I feel like you need people who have speed and stamina. You understand? Skill as well. So my 4 is relatively easy, because over there on the right, I would definitely have to have Diego Maradona. You understand? Let me see the scene. You see me properly now? Okay. Yeah, on the right, definitely you'd have to have Diego Maradona, 100%. And I personally thought Cristiano Ronaldo would have been in the midfielders.
Yes.
Because I would put him on left midfield.
Yeah.
Because I can't possibly put him in the forward position. I can't do that. You understand? I have Ronaldo from Brazil as my forward and Pele. You know, it don't get better than that for me personally. You know, so the only way I could squeeze in my favorite footballers, I can say I have on my Manchester United jersey. Only way I could squeeze in Christie is to put him at left midfield. So I'm kind of surprised you don't have him in the midfield positions.
Yeah. All right, Chris, we heard you. Quick reaction there. He, you know, part of the discussion here, which we did on the very first day, was the formation that we would use. When I listened to him with the Cristiano Ronaldo point, which is a fairly good point, maybe if you had a 3-5-2 formation and more midfielders in there, maybe, you know, Chris at that point would have had some space for CR7 with the flank position.
Yeah, but Ronaldo is a victim of his own quality.
Yes.
Yeah. And given that he can play as a striker in any formation and not just fill in, some people can fill in, he can play as an out-and-out striker. Yeah. He's a victim of that, and that's why he's listed among the forwards rather than among the midfielders. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I agree with George. I've never seen him as a midfielder. I see him as a forward or playing in front of the midfielders and so on. So from that position, from that perspective, I am concurring with George on that.
Okay, we're going to break. When we come back, we'll get Tenny Glasglow in. Remember, today we are chopping our 14 list of midfielders to 7 as we get closer to naming the 4 midfielders to join the 4 defenders and the goalkeeper we already have. Back in a moment.
All right, so Zone Football 11, the ultimate 11. We're boiling down to the big reveal. We're at the midfielders now. Our task is to select 4, and we have our expert panel on tap. The fans are speaking, and they're speaking loudly, and there are some big names that are leading the vote to be in the SportsMax Ultimate 11. All right. 7 out of 14. The first thing we're going to do today, we're not going to go to the last 4 just like that. We have to whittle down the list. We have 14 on the short list now. We need to make that short list shorter by leaving only 7 names. So we have Iniesta, Maradona, Enzo Francescoli, they called him the Prince, Roberto Rivellino, the biggest and the best mustache in the history of football, Garrincha, Ronaldinho, Michel Platini, Luis Figo, Lothar Matthäus, Johan Cruyff, Sir Bobby Charlton, Xavi Hernandez, Zico, and the man whose parents came from Algeria to France, Zinedine Zidane. The former St. Lucia international, Tenny Glasglow, is online. He wasn't hearing us in the previous segment, but he's hearing us now. And we've heard from the other 2 men already, Tennis, and I'm sure you did as well, talking about the qualities that they're looking for in their midfield. Sancho spoke, Chris Martin also spoke. What qualities are you looking for in your ultimate 11 midfield for Tennyson?
Okay, guys, I'm sorry for the mix-up earlier. Good afternoon to everybody. Hope you heard me loud and clear from St. Lucia.
We are.
Well, with me, it's all about ball handling. Also, I want a player with a lot of tenacity, good vision, anticipation, in terms of seeing that pass even before it happens. And, of course, the knack for scoring goals as well. What I want is a complete player, because you're talking about midfield where the brains of the game are dealt with. So if you look at footballers, normally the guys with all the intelligence play in midfield, as much as the guys up front have ice in their veins to be cool to finish. And of course, the guys at the back, the defenders, can, tenacity, and they can really fire it up. But in midfield is where, to me, it is won or lost in terms of football. So I want a complete player giving me every aspect, every ingredient of the game, especially vision, tenacity, and have that engine within to run to last 90 minutes and play box to box.
All right, great. So we have that the basis for your selections from you. Chris, I'm going to come back to you now because I want you to help me to remove 7 of these 14. Of the list that you have in front of you that we sent to you, who are the names that you would leave behind on the cutting floor?
Well, I go have to leave Garrincha. I go online and I watch Garrincha. He's nice, but he plays right midfield as well. So I know for me that position is already gone.
But Chris, stick up in. I'm not quarreling with you, my friend, but let me ask you this. There are many people in Brazil who will tell you that Garrincha was a better player than Pele. They'll tell you that he won the 62 World Cup by himself when Pele was kicked out by the Chileans in that famous game. They'll tell you that Garrincha is arguably the best dribbler in the history of football. And they'll ask you, Chris Martin, how could you then leave this talent on the cutting floor so early?
Because listen, when I really match it up, Garrincha plays right midfield for me. And for me, I feel like that position solely right now in this list that you have, if I am to call a spade, really belongs to the general from Argentina.
Yes.
I can't give it. I really couldn't give Garrincha right midfield over Diego. I couldn't. I wouldn't sleep.
Chris, all right, so hold it on the Garrincha point. Let me hear you on this, Brent Sancho. Chris Martin says he's not using the man they called the Canary in Brazil.
Chris is a brave man because you know how Brazilians, you're right, how Brazilians feel about it. But I hear his point. I think Chris seems to be settled on his 4 already. So he's just he wants to get to his 4. But I think when you look at the list, I may go with the likes of Iniesta, as tough as a call as it may be. For me, Garrincha may survive a little bit lower down. Another player I think should survive is Francescoli, a player that is, I think, hugely underrated as it relates to the world scene, but a tremendous talent out of Uruguay. So he would stay in it for me. But Iniesta, Lothar Matthäus as well, as talented as a player he is, I mean, I can't see him moving on as well. So those 2 in my mind, and Luis Figo as well, those 3 in my mind wouldn't move forward for me.
All right. Tennyson, so far, Chris says he's not using Garrincha, and Brent has given me 3 names. He says Xavi can go, Lothar Matthäus can go at this point, and he says Iniesta can go at this point as well. Do you agree with those 4 so far?
I don't know, but I tell you, I have my own persons. And because you see, the reason why for this, I think all 3 of us have different ideology in terms of what we're looking for in terms of players. I certainly would keep Lothar Matthäus, most certainly. Lothar Matthäus, like I spoke earlier, of box to box, somebody who has a big engine, can basically run that midfield on his own. So I would keep Lothar Matthäus. I wouldn't go with Garrincha at all, but I would keep Lothar Matthäus because of the presence that he brings, and because we're going with 4 midfielders, he can play a role going forward and, of course, defensively. So I would keep Lothar Matthäus. I wouldn't keep Garrincha for sure. I mean, I don't know of the man, but basically what I've seen of him, at his point in time, he could have done what he did. But the game has evolved so much, and we don't really see those type of players per se anymore. So they may have set the platform, but other players have enhanced their game. So I wouldn't have Garrincha going forward if my 7 at all. But Lothar Matthäus would for sure be one going forward. And if you want me to continue with some other names, I can do so as well.
Yeah, please, just give me your 7 right now, because I'm going to ask the other gentlemen.
My seven, of course, due to time constraints, I would go with Zinedine Zidane. I think if this guy is like a Rolls Royce of a player, if you talk about a player who took that game and played that game how we all want to play so gracefully, with so much technique.
Hold on, Tennyson, yeah. Just for simplicity's sake, don't give me the ones you're keeping, because my producers need to cross out names. Give me the ones you're dropping now from the 14.
Okay, good. All right, simple. I would drop off, a big call, I would drop off Xavi and Iniesta. I think they were made for the tiki-taki, and they were brilliant in the tiki-taki. But in terms of all around, in terms of retrieving that ball and getting it back, neither Iniesta and Xavi can do so. They were good touches of the football. Luis Figo out, Rivellino out, Francescoli out, Bobby Charlton out. That's my 7.
So go again, Xavi, Iniesta, Garrincha, Figo, Bobby Charlton, who else?
No, I go again. Xavi, Iniesta, Garrincha, Figo, Rivellino, Francescoli, and Bobby Charlton. All right, Chris, yeah. I come back to you. You gave me 1 name already. You dropped Garrincha. Who are the other 6 that are following him out at this point?
No. Hurt me to do this, but Sir Bobby Charlton's got to go.
Yes.
Yeah, it hurts, but you don't know. Sir Bobby Charlton has to go. I'm going to take that pair from Spain as well, just like tennis.
Yes.
I'll take that pair from Spain. And it tough now, man. It get a little way now. I already tell you it's a Garincha.
Yes. So you need 3 more names, man. You need 3 more names, Mr. Martin.
But oh gosh, man. Mateus, I love how Mateus plays the game still. You know what I mean? He's rough, he's technically sound, but I feel like maybe I'm gonna have to let him go.
All right. That's 5. You need 2 more.
That was hard. Oh gosh, man. Cole, I'm a baller too, you know. No, you have too much big baller in another one something here, man. Rivellino, oh gosh. All right. It's either. All right. I'm gonna have to keep Rivellino and let Scully go. Scully has to go.
You're gonna let Enzo Francescoli go. All right. So that's 6. You need 1 more.
Wow.
I need. Oh.
1 more.
All right. I think of the remaining 8, this is the easiest. I think Figo. Figo can go.
You're taking Figo. So Chris Martin's list: Xavi, Iniesta, Lothar Matthäus, Garincha, Figo, Bobby Charlton, and Enzo Francescoli. It's almost a mirror image of Tenny Glasglow. Almost. Brent, let me get your 7 that you're cutting right now.
I agree with Chris up until Francescoli. Something about that player. I've seen him at the Copa America. I've seen him for Uruguay. It was a point where he was the only player for Uruguay at that point in time. A talented midfielder. And I would have to lean with, of course, Ravanelli as well. I just can't see Garincha go. I just think, you hit the nail on the head, George. He was such a talented player. Some argue that he was better than Pelé. And I've seen video clips of him, and I just thought he was a player beyond his time. So it's hard to get rid of him. But the other players that I think that Chris would have selected, I can go with it. I would have Bobby Moore in there as well, of course.
Bobby Charlton. Hold on.
Bobby Charlton, sorry.
Hold on, Brent.
Bobby
All right.
Charlton.
Hold on, Brent. So let me go. So you're leaving Xavi out. You're dropping Xavi.
Xavi's out.
Iniesta is out.
Iniesta is out.
Mateus is out.
Mateus is out. Bobby Charlton is out. This is where it gets very difficult.
So that's 4. You have 3 more.
Figo is out.
Figo is out, yes.
Yeah. Ravanelli is out as well.
Rivellino is out, yes.
Yeah.
1 more.
And that's where I'm stuck.
So you're keeping Garincha. You're keeping Garincha.
Yeah, I'm keeping Garincha.
All right.
Garincha
So
goes down to the wire for me.
So are you? Who's gonna drop Johan Cruyff right here? Are you dropping Johan Cruyff, Brent Sancho?
Oh no.
All right. Are you dropping Maradona?
Of course not.
Are you dropping Platini? Are you dropping Platini?
You see, and that's where it leads into somebody like Zico, where it's going to be hard to drop someone like Zico. I think Zico is another player that could argue that easily one of the best to play the sport.
But you have to drop 1 more. Everybody else has dropped 7. You need to drop somebody. Come, talk to me.
Well, if I'm forced and I'm being forced, I would have to probably go with Zico.
All right, so Brent Sancho is the man who has dropped Zico. This is sacrilege, gentlemen, but this is why you're doing what you're doing. You have the hard task. Just one more thing before we go. Chris, I want to put this one to you and then go to the panel with the same point. Chris, are you saying, is part of your reasoning for dropping Lothar Matthäus because you have Franz Beckenbauer in your side and you can push him up to play your defensive midfield if you want to? So you're saying, given the qualities of the men in your defense line and their versatility, that you don't need Lothar Matthäus' quality in this 11. Is that your reasoning, my friend?
Definitely. I think you're reading my mind. I say Beckenbauer now, he gives me the same things defensively as a defensive midfielder that Matthäus would have given to me.
Yes.
So I already have that. I have that player, and as you can attest with my other 3 defenders, if Beckenbauer does move out of position, they can cover.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So I have the strength around there. So I really feel like that's the only reason. Just because I have Beckenbauer, that's the only reason why I can really give away Matthäus. That's the only reason. Honest to God.
All right. So based on the commonality of what you have said, is it based on votes or based on the panel selection? Based on based on the panel selection so far, gentlemen, the commonality of what you've chosen, Mateus is definitely out based on what you've said. Figo is out. Sir Bobby Charlton is gone, a Manchester United fan. Chris should be ashamed of himself, but that's another story for another time. Iniesta is out. Garrincha is also out. So that's 5. So it comes to the zone panel now to finish up the other 2. Gentlemen, right here, the panel has spoken. They're under the pressure. It's time for you. Wayne Lewis, who would you leave out?
Can I get the pic?
The list is, here's the list. I'm sharing my list with you. Okay. Well, there's on TV. Yeah.
Iniesta will be out for me.
So Iniesta goes for Wayne, yes?
Definitely Revellino has to stay.
Yes.
Francescoli has to stay along with Maradona.
Yes.
So Garrincha would go for me as well.
So Garrincha goes for you?
Yes.
So Mr. Producer?
Definitely out.
So Mateus goes for you.
Yes, I have to let go Figo as well.
Figo is gone.
Then it's I'm hurting.
That's 4. That's 4.
Hurting. How much more do I need to go?
You need 3 more.
Can I see the other side? Okay, Bobby Charlton. So Bobby Charlton will have to go for me as well.
Yes, 2 more.
Javier Hernandez. And because I like Michel Platini and I love Zico. Zico was my baller from 1982 and so on. So, I mean, this is going to create some static now, but Zidane has to go for me as well.
All right, Zidane has to go. Zidane goes for you?
Yes.
All right. All right, so 5 are gone. Lance, we need to help to push 2 more out. What say you?
I know the 7 that I want to be out. So if the list is being computed as we go along,
yes,
then our producers can, by my 7 that are out, add that to what is already there. My 7 out are Charlton, Zico, Iniesta, Xavi, Figo, Revellino, and Francescoli. That's my 7 that's out.
Matthias is out.
Zico and Revellino. All right. So Mr. Producer, your company. Do we save one of Zico and Revellino? It's either or. All right, gentlemen of the panel, we come back to you. We want a vote. Zico and Revellino. One has to go. We have to do this quickly. Chris, which one are you saving? Zico or Revellino?
I have to save Revellino.
All right. Tennyson, Zico or Revellino?
I'm saving Zico.
Oh dear. Brent, who are you saving? Zico or Revellino?
Casting vote.
I'd like to save Zico, and I saved my reputation here in Trinidad as well.
All right.
Bringing Zico back in.
So do we need to go further, Mr. Producer, or do you have your answer? Confirm here, Zico or Revellino?
I would save Revellino.
Oh dear. And who is it?
I have to choose one?
Yes.
I have to save Zico. I love Revellino.
All right, Zico is it then. Zico is it by virtue of Wayne's vote. So Zico is saved.
Is saved.
And Revellino goes.
What can that be?
Gentlemen of the panel, Chris, thank you very much. Brent, thank you very much. Teddy said thank you very much. This is only half of the work, you know. This is only half. We've cut down 7. We have 7 left to go, and then we have to select a final 4. So, gentlemen, we'll be calling on you again. Thank you very much.
All right. Blessings.
All right, man, anytime.
Good.
Wayne,
This was harder than I thought.
That was sad what you just did, Wayne.
Zico with Zidane.
Between Revellino and Zico.
I have a choice, and I saw Zico play.
I'm just saying it's sad.
It's sad, it is.
Revellino is ahead of Zico.
I love Zico too. But
Revellino is ahead of
That's
Zico.
why I said it. I mean, how can they not vote for Revellino before? How can he fall so low? I think.
But you had a chance to repair it and you gave Zico the edge.
I had a sneaky feeling I'd be wasting my vote and I go with him. So
no, but I said Revellino.
Here's what's going to happen.
Yes. I love Zico.
When all is said and done,
yes,
I suspect that one Michel Platini won't get picked. And I'm going to be very upset because Michel Platini is 39 times better than Zinedine Zidane. And Platini won't get into the 4, but Zidane will.
I don't.
So before we go, this is what we have left. Iniesta, Revellino, who was sent home by Wayne Lewis's vote. Don't forget that. You can take it up with him when you see him at the supermarket. Iniesta, Revellino, Garrincha are gone. Those 3 men are gone. So too is Mateus, gone. Luis Figo, gone. Bobby Charlton also gone. All right? So tomorrow, Tuesday, is the second day of talking about the midfielders. And we have 7 standing, but we can only use 4. And Lance Whittaker is going to tell you that Zidane is better than Platini. You should take it up with him when you see him as well. And don't forget that Zico is not in the final 7 because of this man.
He is in the final seven.
is in the
Well,
final.
Zico isn't. No, Rivellino is not in the final seven because of this man.
Yes.
This man is singularly
I
responsible
thought we had 6
for that
voters,
act.
6 persons
All right.
voted.
So sportsmax.tv/ultimate11. Play the competition, and yeah, that's what it is all about. All right. So on behalf of our panel, we'll see you on Tuesday for this segment. That's Chris Martin right there, Brent Sancho, Tenny Glasglow. We're gone.